Hello, everybody. I hope you can see me. Hello, hello. 2 viewers. Good. That's the beginning. Hi, everybody. So, no, we lost a viewer like in the first second. Chat. Can I see a chat? Okay. Jay Bodie. Hello, Dacob. How you doing, sweetie? Welcome to the Fashion Bunker. Ambrose Joseph. Heh to you too. So, guys, listen. First of all, in the past, I've had, the kind of initial minutes of every live stream seem to be slower. So I need to know from you. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Giorgio Androni, I think. Let me know if the stream is okay. Send me a sign, a vital sign. Send me a sign. Can I? The stream is okay, looks good. Okay, perfect. So guys, let's get straight to it. Welcome. Before we begin, there's a link in the description box. Can you see it? If not, I will post it in the chat as well. It's a link to the Guardian article, which I will be reading now, and we will be reviewing the article as per the guidelines of fair use on YouTube, and we will be discussing and debating the topic, which is, well, the title of this article on The Guardian is Chanel Shoes, but No Salary. How one woman exposed the scandal of the French fashion industry. It's very juicy and it's very interesting because it touches base on something that usually a lot of other people, or whenever the fashion industry is criticized, we would usually say fabrics outside of Europe, in India and China, and people are not paid well. And we know all of these, Then we have the whole black market of replicas and fake bags, and how people are also making them under very poor conditions, and so on and so forth. But we're bringing it back to home. And what this lady, her name is Giulia Mencitieri, is criticizing is actually what is happening very close to home within the fashion houses, when people were, the stylists working for them or with them, everybody who's internal within the companies inside of Europe. We're going to get to that today. Brenda, hey, Dacob, all good. How you doing, Brenda? Ambrose says, today's better, choppy before. Okay. It's great so far. How are you, Dacob? Hope all is well. All is well. Thank you very much. I'm just so exhausted from work. Jay Herrera says, hola. Hola, Jay. So thumb up the video if the stream is good. We need to see them thumbs come in. There's only one thumb up. Come on, give us some more. And while we're at it, let me tell you one important thing. I have in the past already done several lectures on several topics and given lectures in institutions and places and schools. But 17th and 18th of November, or is it 18th and 19th? It's the Saturday and Sunday, so I think it's 17th, 18th. I will be giving a 2-day course on film video editing within social media and the context of YouTube and Instagram, how to do it, the topics, copyright issues, how to work with music, what does a viral video mean? How do they really function? Do they really function? It will be an analytical and a very practical course as well. And it will take place in Berlin, Germany, at the Editing Academy, or they call it the Schnitt Academy. So you could check their website. I will make a video specifically only on that topic, so all information will be there. There is also a way to reduce the price of the course. If 2 people book together, then you get 20% off. The places are very limited. The slots are limited. but it will be Saturday and Sunday, and I'm thinking of also adding there like a Monday to it, if you could stay longer, and if I could manage to kind of stay as well, to do one shopping day all together, like make a great meet and greet. And there's also a hidden Twin Peaks bar in Berlin. It's called the Black Lodge, where we could actually go drinking every day after the 8-hour course is finished. Just saying. For everybody who's above age, obviously. You could drink a Coca-Cola too. Anyway, we digress. I will be bombarding you with this every video because I really want you guys, I want everybody to know about it and you know, get a chance to share this with you. Okay. Oh yes, number 5 is that's a great thumb number. La Maison Gaga. Hi, Dacob. Shouted you out on Twitter. Yes, thank you, sweetie. I retweeted and sent you hearts and kisses. Thank you so much, Maison Gaga. Love exploring your fashion world. Okay, so this is the thing, guys. I'm wearing Vivienne Westwood for a reason, because I have the feeling that that company is kind of, in terms of luxury fashion, more down to earth in terms of how people are treated in there and paid. I don't know exactly, but she strives, the woman as a designer really strives to preserve the environment, create fashion pieces that use the smallest amount of materials possible without creating waste after they're done. So there's a lot of kind of work that goes into creating sustainable fashion. Now, whether or not everybody everywhere in every part of the company is paid properly, I cannot know. But let's get to the article. Just to remind you guys, in the description box of this video, there's the link to the Guardian article, and I'll be reading it now. Chanel shoes, but no salary. Oh, by the way, did you like the thumbnail? This is a needle. It's basically, it's a Chanel high heel with a needle as a heel. Then it has a little plastic stopper there so that you could actually really walk with them. And they're all silver inside. This is part of the Fashion Bunker collection, archived piece. Aren't they gorgeous? But very dangerous. Fashion can kill you. Just saying. All right, let's get straight to it. Chanel shoes, but no salary. How one woman exposed the scandal of the French fashion industry. A new book by academic Giulia Mencitieri. Hello, Julia. I hope you're watching, and I hope you don't mind us talking about this topic. Feel free to comment if you ever watch this video. So Giulia Mencitieri, laying bare the working conditions of stylists and young designers, has sparked controversy. Will it lead to improved conditions for those forced to work for clothes vouchers instead of cash? That's basically the initial sentence. No, Ambrose. October 20 and 21. No, November. The 11th month of the year. My course takes place in November. November 17th and 18th. Hi, Emilio. How's it going? Giulia Mencitieri takes little to no personal interest in clothes, so it is likely to have been an ugly surprise to the French fashion industry that her PhD, now a book, entitled The Most Beautiful Job in the World, has opened up its secretive profession in such a dramatically public way. In France, the book's findings, that fashion, the country's second biggest industry, exploits most of the creatives who work in it, were quickly picked up by the media when it was published earlier this year. The resulting headlines included The Ruthless World of Fashion, Fashion's Dirty Underside, and An Extremely Wealthy Industry Founded on Unpaid Work. By the way, I'm so sorry I forgot to thank one of my Instagram followers for sending me this link. This Instagram follower did not specifically say if they wish to be named or not. If you do wish to be named, just write your name in the comment section. But thank you so much for sharing. Sharing is caring. As you can see, the Fashion Bunker community is super strong. I get a lot of information from all of you, so I share all the best, juiciest topics that arrive into my DM box. The reality of fashion was illustrated by Mensitieri's chance introduction 8 years ago to her subject matter. She met MIA, a successful Italian stylist, or Mia, who had moved to Paris. She was wearing Chanel shoes and carrying a Prada handbag, being flown across the world in business class. I never would have imagined that she was in the situation she was in. Mia couldn't afford to rent a room, so she was couch surfing at a friend's house behind the screen in the kitchen. Sometimes she had no money for the phone bill. She was eating McDonald's every day. She never knew when she would be paid for a job and how much she would get. For example, for a week's work, a very big luxury brand gave her a voucher for €5,000, that's approximately 4,500 British pounds, to spend in their boutique. True, Mia could have sold it, and among hard-up fashion workers, there is a lively market in reselling luxury goods. But Mensitieri points out that working in fashion means being seen in a constantly updated uniform of beautiful, expensive clothes and accessories, paid for by the vouchers, such as the one Mia received, instead of a salary. This situation is nothing exceptional. Mia is just a paradigm of what is going on. Let me turn off the air conditioning for a second, just in case we need better audio. The book is like, let me just read. Hey, Marcelo Vergara, hi buddy, greetings from Bolivia. Hi sweet, how you doing? The book is lively from the start. Mensitieri's analysis and case studies build up a fairly damning picture of her subject matter. One interviewee, a former fashion journalist at a glossy magazine, describes how she was dropped by her coterie of friends and colleagues one day. They just suddenly stopped taking her calls or responding to her emails. There was no explanation. This is the violence everyone told me about, says Mensitieri. Once you're out, you're out. There can be a trauma attached to such sudden ejection. All your social relationships are in that world. They're gone. From being exceptional, now you have transgressed in some unmentionable way, or simply you are not special enough anymore. Finding work in a new sector can be difficult because normal people behave so differently from what you're used to. Finding a job can be difficult coming from an industry that those on the outside tend to look down on as fluffy and lightweight. Mensitieri, an alumni or alumnus of École des Hautes Études of High Studies, I can't pronounce the French word, in sciences, in social sciences, one of France's elite grande école, is in London to talk about her book, although it has not yet been translated into English. I was a little bit scared when it came out, she says, because it's quite a strong renunciation, even though that was not my goal. I'm an anthropologist, not a journalist. The book's salient claim is that when we think of exploitation in fashion, we think of sweatshops abroad or sexual harassment of models. But that's not what I was interested in. I was looking at the creative side: stylists, makeup artists, young designers, interns, assistants. What I really want to make clear is that exploitation exists at the very heart of the powerfully symbolic and economic center of the maisons de couture, the big luxury brands. But it is a different form of exploitation, in some cases also barely legal. Super hard to scroll this. Critics of the book complained that Mensitieri only interviewed 50 people for her analysis, all of them off the record. There are no statistics. Some took Karl Lagerfeld's general view, and his general view is allegedly fashion is a total injustice. It's like that, and that's it. But no one, claims the author, has said that what I've written isn't true. The big brands generally do not like the idea of an objective outsider meddling, but it seems that the people who work for them do. They have written to Mensitieri to say they had never considered themselves exploited before they read her book, wrapped up as they were in the industry's glossy promise. They say that now that they've read the book, they began to see the big picture and little fragments of their own experiences, says the author. And once they understand the big picture, they can't look at fashion and their job in fashion or themselves in the same way. Jean-Paul Gaultier, the only well-known designer to have commented on the book so far, brushed it off, saying fashion was like any other industry, that fashion is like a family. Sales of Mensitieri's books suggest that the general public doesn't entirely share Gaultier's views. When ID France published an interview with Mensitieri, oh, come on. It was its most read article. Perhaps tellingly, journalists who have written about the book for commercial fashion magazines have had their articles dropped at the last minute. We meet at a London cafe where I had read staff are chosen for their looks and sex appeal. It is an example of the kind of social status that fashion is so good at conferring on those who work in it. In exchange, Mensitieri discovered, for not paying them enough or at all, or paying them in convoluted, unpredictable ways that cannot easily be turned into cash, an unexchangeable €1,000 voucher for a designer boutique first-class flights to fashion shoots or accommodation in luxury hotels. The message is, you don't have to be paid because you are lucky to be there at all. Working in fashion is hyper-socially validating, even if you're unpaid. That's an important point for me. Fashion presents itself as something exceptional, a world outside the ordinary. She says, there is a kind of confused denial of the norms of labor conditions. The dream that French fashion especially projects is that of a life of effortless luxury. Mundane, everyday facts of life, such as working for a living, or indeed even money, are considered vulgar, taboo, even dirty subjects. But is it really possible that France's second most profitable industry after cars and before armaments, a €15 billion industry, can be an exception in capitalism? To me, fashion is the very center of contemporary capitalism. It upholds the old forms of exploitation, factories in Bangladesh, and so on, and the new, very modern forms, which are more a kind of self-exploitation, a blurring of the line between your work and everything you are outside of work. France's fashion industry is intensely bound up with national identity. Whoever does not visit Paris regularly will never truly be elegant, Balzac wrote in 1830. And it is an image that the world's center of luxury shopping is keen to uphold. Louis Vuitton's new flagship store in Place Vendôme, for example, inhabits a building designed by Louis XIV's favorite architect, Jules Hardouin Mansart. I'm so bad at pronouncing his name. Who helped design the Palace of Versailles. To understand fashion's reach and power, Mensitieri explains, look at the parade of designers President Emmanuel Macron invited to the Élysée Palace. The government is keenly aware of the industry's economic and symbolic power, she says. In the film Zoolander, if the film Zoolander sums up the general public's ideas about fashion in other countries, in France, to say, I work in fashion, is something extremely important. To engage properly with her interviewees, Mensitieri had to learn the etiquette, when to say darling, when to stay silent. Saying no is uncool. Yes can mean anything. And there is a kind of addiction to this adrenaline, this prestige, this idea of being exceptional. I talk in the book about the jackpot winner takes it all. The economy of hope, I call it. Maybe I will be next, even though the statistics tell you it's unlikely you will. Fashion is colonized by desirable projection. You are never present because tomorrow will be better. It's an addictive way of thinking. Her interviewees talk a lot about personas and the need to invent one, and the need to invent one persona if they are to have any hope of success. A teetotal model describes how her agent told her to be more rock and roll, to wear leather jackets, and to be seen in certain bars drinking beer. An assistant makeup artist describes the tantrums his very famous boss threw if his favorite green cotton wool buds were not laid out in perfect square. What is amazing is that the workers justify this. They say, oh, but he's a genius. That's what geniuses do. A designer I interviewed worked for a luxury, edgy, well-known company. She dressed Lady Gaga and so on. She had been working at the company for 5 years, designing the men's and women's collections with a third job in production. She was paid the minimum wage. When she was talking about it, she said, the creative director, he was my mentor. He was like a father to me. He was a genius. Mensitieri calls this the glamorization of domination. The hero tyrant who you put on a pedestal while she or he exploits you. The biggest goal of neoliberalism is the individualization of structural domination. You leave everything at an interpersonal, subjective level. It was only when the poorly paid designer left her work because of burnout that the bubble burst. She seemed confused when she told Mensitieri he was earning 13,000 euro a month, but I was on the minimum wage. Just 100 euro a month more would have made the difference to me, but he wouldn't do it. It starts in fashion school, says Mensitieri. The students there know they will be exploited, but they don't see themselves as exploited. Come on. I can't scroll, guys. Oh, no. Sorry, I'm like out of the article now because if one thing is horrible with this particular system, oh, God damn it. Nothing. I can't scroll through the iPad. Are you enjoying it so far? Stella Antoine says, hey, you're super awesome. Greetings from the Netherlands. Thank you so much. I'm trying to get back to the article, guys. Without clicking any commercials. That's the trick with this stupid scrolling. Bear with me. Oh my God, it's insane. It keeps opening up commercials. Okay, it starts in fashion school, says Mensitieri. The students there know they will be exploited, but they don't see themselves as exploited. Professor Angela McRobbie at Goldsmiths, a specialist in new forms of labor in the creative economy, who teaches feminist theory, gender, and popular culture, explains, French fashion doesn't have some of the underground roots or edginess that British fashion does. It's much more corporate and top-heavy, whereas critical theory is taught in fashion schools here or in the States. In France, there's none of that. It was McRobbie who invited Mensitieri to speak at the Society of Arts in London. Here is a very important book, she says. Who then are the exploiters? LVMH. The French leader of the world's luxury goods market owns 70 luxury fashion brands, including Louis Vuitton, Christian Dior, and Fendi. It saw its net profits rise 41% in the first half of this year. Owners of the big brands make billions. Alain and Gerard Wertheimer, who own Chanel, paid themselves a $3.4 billion dividend last year, 4 times the company's profits. In a further paradox, people in the industry's business and marketing side tend to be paid well, or at least in line with other businesses their size. Further down the chain, what about the responsibilities of top designers whose annual salaries can run into the millions? Karl Lagerfeld, Chanel's creative director, has an alleged net worth of $20 million. Surely a well-paid designer is making a morally questionable choice by not paying workers more. Mensitieri lets designers off the hook on this point. They are part of a larger system, she says. Oh God, and now we're opening another. Sorry guys, every time I try to scroll, it's a mess. But we're going to get there because Super Dacob does not give up. I'm like a bulldog. When I bite the bone, I don't let go until it's chewed up. Just letting you know. Because we don't give up so easy. Come on, you can do it. Ah. Okay. About the designers, they are part of a larger system, she says. It's not up to her to make moral judgments. It is discouraging to hear that despite the high praise Mensitieri has received privately from every well-known designers, nobody has said, yes, I'm going to pay my staff more. It is not just people working in fashion who might recognize themselves in these descriptions. It is a similar scene across all the creative industries and academia, says Mensitieri. She also makes a good comparison with the charity sector, where it is widely held doing good is incompatible with being paid well. If her theory is true, does she think there's hope for reform? If you want to change things, you have to look beyond fashion or whatever industry you're in and talk to people in different fields who are working under the same conditions, she says. I'm not an optimistic person, but there are interesting things happening at the fringes. There's a strong anti-fashion movement in the UK and in France. Models are working together for better working conditions. It's advice that some people working in the fashion industry may not want to hear, but you need to start collaborating, which is an almost heretical thought in fashion. You need to stop thinking of yourself as special. And this is so important, guys. The article ends here. Again, go check out The Guardian. They also, at the end of the article, it's just fair to say, they also state, we have a small favor to ask. The Guardian is editorially independent, meaning we set our own agenda. Our journalism is free from commercial bias and not influenced by billionaire owners, politicians, or shareholders. No one edits our editor. No one steers our opinion. This is important because it enables us to give a voice to the voiceless, challenge the powerful, and hold them to account. It's what makes us different to so many others in the media at a time when factual, honest reporting is critical. More people are reading The Guardian's independent investigative journalism than ever, but advertising revenues across the media are falling fast. And unlike many news organizations, we haven't put up a paywall. We want to keep our journalism as open as we can, so you can see why we need to ask for your help. We do it because we believe our perspective matters, because it might well be your perspective too. For as little as €1, you can support The Guardian, and it only takes a minute. Thank you. So guys, please scroll to the bottom of the article and you could donate to The Guardian. It's just fair to say, to mention this as well, because it is a wonderful article. And Stephanie Marsh is the author of the article. So guys, you can read it. The link is in the description box under here. I'm going to turn on. I'm sweating like there's no tomorrow. It's summer in the bunker, super hot. So what do you guys think? Stella Antoine. Oh my God, you pronounced my name correctly. Très boucom. Love this story time. I'm going to put on some makeup. Powder, guys. It's powder time because while reading, I have to concentrate so much and then I start sweating. I apologize, okay? But we have no secrets here. It's all about the powder. Okay. Thanks for your patience, everybody. Never give up on finishing reading articles, Emilia says. Yes. Okay, guys. So, I mean, okay, so, okay, people are listening. Yes, very interesting. I guess we all need a little bit, like, we needed to settle in to understand what's going on here. But it is true, you know, and this also applies for the blogosphere, for the beauty gurus, for the fashion bloggers, the fashion vloggers, the fashion influencers, the makeup influencers. A lot of them might be getting freebies, but no money. Of course, it's a different story when you start your own, like, YouTube channel or Instagram profile, and you get really famous, and then you could start charging for actual, promotion and commercials. But usually it's not the case. Usually what happens, you get a freebie and you get to talk about it. And on this level in which the article and the book from Incitieri deals with, a lot of these people are kind of chained to a fashion brand or several fashion brands, for styling for them, photographing for them, designing for them, doing accessories for them, or doing embellishments, details for them. And they're literally like slaves. I mean, they have these vouchers or they have free clothes, but they don't get paid. It's absurd in a way. It's a paradox. Could you imagine being flown all over the world, first class or business class, but not having the money to pay your rent or to pay a telephone bill? Of course, there are bigger problems. We're not talking about the sweatshops. We're not talking about, third world, fourth world countries that are producing for the first world. This is all, we know it. Books have been written on it. But this other topic that comes even closer to home is a topic that isn't touched upon much, I have a lot to do with the fashion industry and on several sides of it. And there's all sorts of things going on. As the book and as the article explains, there are sectors that are very well paid, and there are other sections that are not very well paid. Whether it be from the artistic designer, creative director, all the way to the public relations company that's paid to represent the brand in a particular country or continent-wide or worldwide, which is rarely the case, to a marketing team that's set up in place to market the brand. Sometimes brands do it internally. They have their own marketing team. Sometimes, mostly, they pay an external marketing company to do their marketing. Or then we could talk about advertisement. You pay artistic directors that are only responsible for doing advertisement and ad campaigns for your brand. But then those companies also have their co-workers, which they don't pay almost nothing. So it branches out like a cancer. And there is this aura of fabulousness, and oh, you're wearing the latest piece by this and that designer. You mean something. That is so superficial, and we have to fight against that. We have to fight against that notion that only the newest is best. That is not true. You have to learn to love what you love, to find out what is the thing that fits and suits you. And that transcends time. And once you're free from those chains, you will no longer be burdened by the constant rush to have and hunt down the latest, newest thing. And you will stop finally feeling bad about yourself and allowing other bullies to bully you for not having the newest piece. Or, you will not be influenced. It will not touch you anymore when somebody tells you, oh, you're poor, you can't afford the newest piece. I know I'm quoting Chanel in almost every video I make, but Coco herself said it. Luxury is not the opposite of poverty. Luxury is the opposite of vulgarity. And there's nothing more vulgar than showing off your wealth without having absolutely any substance underneath it, behind it, on top of it, and to the sides of it. Things have to be fair. And there is a possibility for fashion to be fair as well. Fashion can be just. There can be justice within fashion. It's just that we all have to stick together. As the article in the book states, you have to stop thinking you are special. It's as easy as that. It's hard, And by that, I think they don't mean to say that you're bland, you mean nothing. I think they just mean you have to kind of eliminate the ego. It's the ego that makes you believe that you're better than everybody else. You're not. And oftentimes, it's these companies that play on that subject of kind of this being special and different that makes you feel like you're elevated from the masses. There's nothing more superficial than that, guys. Honestly, I love fashion. I love beautiful objects, you know that. But I never show off. I never care if something is new or last season. Heck, I'm so thrilled if I manage to find something in an outlet store that's marked down 70%. And I am proud to say it. I'm not going to lie and say, oh, I bought this like full retail price. No, I mean, the only full retail price that I have to pay if I want something from Chanel, you know, it's Chanel. If it's a Chanel bag, there's no sale on a Chanel bag. You know what I mean? Or Louis Vuitton bags. But everything else, you manage to hunt down reduced. You don't have to pay retail prices. Secondhand is amazing. The vintage market is a vast landscape of wonderful, wonderful objects, beautiful accessories and garments, shoes and bags, costume jewelry or real jewelry, toys, whatever you love. You can find it in the secondhand market. And the secondhand market is amazing. Not just vintage, also soft vintage, which is like, let's say 10 years old, not 20, because to be officially vintage, something needs to be around 20 years old. But also, you know, it doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter. And I never judge a person for wearing something that's 10 years old, 15 years old. Never. There's no reason to. We're brainwashed to think that we should. But we should judge people by what they're wearing. Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't make that mistake. Don't limit yourself. Don't make yourself be that person. Don't be the loser. Don't become the tool of a very, 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 very nasty industry. Don't be their tool. Don't, because you're just going to become a slave of it. And there's nothing sadder than losing yourself. Because in the end, you will end up really not special. Mark my words. Been there, done that. Been bruised before, guys. I know what I'm talking. Super D knows what he's talking about. Enough of my blabbering. Let's read the comments. Debbie asks if I ever got offered jobs like this. Yeah, hell yeah. Both in the art. In fact, in the article, what I like very much, they state this doesn't only happen in the fashion sector. It happens in all the creative fields. I come from art. I studied art. I am an artist first and foremost. Everything else comes second. Constantly. I've been constantly throughout my career asked to do something for free, but I would get flown in, everything taken care for, but no money. Many a times I would be asked to even like deliver my art piece by myself, produce it by myself, and then showcase it within a exhibition framework or a festival framework and not earn a penny on it. But it's exposure. But articles will be written about you. But you know, that's worth more than money. It's the prestige because you're special. And this way you will be even more special. Mr. Ad Friendly's coming out now. Let's tone it down because you're going to get scared. Jet said 737. Simone says, so true. I have worked makeup jobs as a makeup artist to network, but worked days and long hours for product. When they said they don't have budget for pay. Amelia says, sounds like first world slavery to me. Yeah, it's modern day, modern type slavery. Same thing applies for interns, internship, non-paid, or like a joke, like $400 or $100 paid internship. Like you're literally working 12 hours a day for nothing. It's a joke. Actually, I'd rather say don't give me anything. If I really love what I'm doing, I'll do it for free to do the internship, but don't make fun of me by offering for my hard sweat, tears, and blood, you know, $100 a month. And I'm spilling my guts 12 hours a day, every day, 6 to 7 days a week. Not cool. Melinda says, we have to stop living in an individualistic society. Me society. I work with people who brag about everything they buy, and I am like, that does not impress me. I cannot be around people like that. Treboucon says, go off, Dacob. Melinda says, good for you for seeing through all of that. Debbie adores Mr. Ad Friendly. Melinda says, unpaid internship are pure idiocy. But you know, oftentimes, especially when you're very young and you're at the beginning of your career, you do not have a choice because every company wants also to see in your curriculum, your CV, they want to see what sort of interns you've done already. You know, how have you been building up your your career, but the prestige surrounding you, your credibility. You know, there's a lot of that that goes on as well, and it's work. It's hard work to make it in this industry. It's also really hard work to make it even on YouTube. And well, you know, there are a lot of guidelines to follow on YouTube and stuff like that, but you know, it's not like that you have a boss on YouTube. And yet, still, I am struggling also on this platform because I don't do the classic superficial fashion videos. Sometimes I do because sometimes it's fun to make fun of them, but it's also sometimes just fun to let go of all the cerebral part. But most of the time my videos are like this one, and that means that I lose a lot of potential viewers and audience because they're not interested to know. We are, for the most in our society, like horses. You know those blindfolds that they have on the sides so they can only see one line, so they can't see the sides? Like, they're like that. Most people just don't have that energy and that strength to look outside of the box. They already have stress with their own jobs, with their own schools, careers, stress in the family, stress in relationships. If they ever turn on YouTube, they want to see cats falling off tables and I'm not going to make any names, but some people just putting on highlighters and what's it called? Whatever. You know what I mean? You're just going to want to have something relaxing that doesn't make you think. And I understand the need for easy leisure, entertainment. I totally get it. I get that need. I get my fix by going to the cinema, for example. I love to watch blockbuster movies. You know, Jurassic World, went to see it like 4 times already. And I'm also guilty of that need to detach, to kind of just take out my electrical cord for a second and just chill down. So I am aware that, especially on a platform like YouTube, one would look for the funny videos, the easy videos, or the drama videos, which are also highly entertaining because it's somebody else's drama and you get a chance to forget your own for a second. But I'm kind of one of those people that wishes we would all live in a better world, and not kind of, I really wish we would. And I do believe in this need to educate each other. I often talk about this flame that we're all sitting around, you know, like our great, great, great ancestors back in the caveman period would sit around a fire, and then the eldest of the clan or the tribe would chant and sing of the history of the clan to the younger generations. And that's how they would transcend history and memory. We've lost that. And I do believe that a platform like YouTube can be that flame. It can be that fire. And there's nobody who knows better than somebody else. We are all sharing together. That's why we have the chat here. We're all sharing information. We are all contributing to that chanting, to that song. And YouTube can be a very powerful tool in terms of education and growth. But alas, oftentimes it is seen as trash. It is seen as easy entertainment, easy listening. That's why a channel like mine doesn't grow quickly, because the people that like to watch this sort of content, they mostly don't even think this sort of content would exist on YouTube. So they don't even come to look for it here because they expect something very superficial and blasé from YouTube. Think about that. I mean, just look which sort of channels have 50 million, 60 million subscribers. Hey, more power to all of y'alls who do and who can make a living off of it with your 60 million subscribers. But honestly, content, depth, can we take anything away from it? Long lasting, or are we just going to watch, absorb what you say, and then we're going to forget it the next day, and we're just going to wait for the next video the next day? Nothing will leave an impression on us because we have become this kind of, it comes in here, goes out there immediately. There's no filter in between where it could stay. This is why social media, I do believe, has occupied so much of the attention span that we have left. And we have very little attention span nowadays, as I always say, fruit fly attention span. So all of these different Instagrammers, YouTube channels, brands on the internet, as they pop up their ads while you're watching a video or something, they all try so hard to occupy that slot of a tiny bit of attention span you still have left in your brain. And once that slot is filled, there's no space for anything else. But already there's a line of 1,000 others waiting to occupy that space in your head. So chances are you will get stuck with easy watching, easy listening entertainment, because they will occupy that slot in your head before you even find something that's a bit more substantial. So on one hand, it is true that today we have so much information at the tip of our fingers. Internet is a vast ocean, almost infinite ocean of information, and you could learn so much. And yet we have never been dumber. And yet it has never been harder to find information, because in this ocean of all of this information, of all of this copy and paste, of all of this abundance of superficial information as well, non-relevant information, it's hard for everybody to be able to just move all the shit away and get to the core. Very hard, because these slots are occupied very quickly, and when they're occupied, it's hard to kind of free them again. Because as I said before, there's already a queue of 1,000 other individuals waiting to occupy that slot in your mind. It's a difficult topic. Now we've kind of drifted off to this social media, but it's connected to the topic of the fashion industry and the exploitation of people within it. Because we also, as consumers, and this is something Mencitieri doesn't mention in the book, at least I don't know, I haven't read the book, I don't know yet, but in the article this hasn't been mentioned. The consumer is exploited as well, because we as a consumer forget one fundamental element, and that is that we ourselves are consumed by the products, by the videos on YouTube, by whatever we're watching or using, by the makeup. It's because we invest our time to watch a video. We invest our time to go looking, to hunt down a limited edition Chanel bag. That's time. It's time consuming. And the brand's marketing mostly kind of puts that on you. So you're investing time and you're becoming obsessed with something, but you wasted that. Once time is gone, it's gone. You'll never get it back. You're never getting that time back. And when you're super young in your teens, you think you're going to live forever. Well, I got a surprise for you, boo. You ain't gonna live forever. We don't know how medicine is going to be in a couple of years. Maybe, there will be incredible treatments and people will be able to live forever in the future. But as of now, we're all gonna croak. Sooner or later, we're all gonna kick the bucket. So now let's put everything into perspective. All of a sudden, when you realize, I know it's a hard thing to think about. Death is not easy to think about. But when you really realize the fact that you won't be on this wonderful, majestic planet Earth forever, then you know that all of this superficiality is not worth it. It's not worth it, guys. It's not worth it to go out trying to hunt down this piece because some stupid influencer with millions of followers wore it. And chances are they got it for free or even paid a lot to wear it. And here you are, the loser sucker, the sucker, running off to try to purchase that item. What a waste of life. Precious, precious, precious life and time. Just saying. Just saying. It's an exploitation, 360 degrees. These brands are at the core of everything that's not going well in this world. They're exploiting their co-workers, they're exploiting the consumers, they're selling us luxury products where the quality is lacking because they know that we're the sucker that's going to buy it anyway because it's branded. So why invest their time and more money into better quality control? No need to. The suckers are going to keep buying anyway because we brainwash them into believing that they need to prove to the rest of society that they are special, that they can afford it, that they are worth it. Think about that. And yes, we are buying expensive things for all the wrong reasons. Very, very rarely does a person really stop for a second to contemplate, am I even online still? I think, am I still online? I guess I am. Can so, anyway, you know what I mean. Think about what you love. Try to avoid brand marketing strategies, making you believe something, a product is something you need when you don't really need it. And what you love it for the reasons that are your own reasons. Don't love it for the reasons that somebody else gives you. It's as simple as that. Same applies for a job. If you really find a place within the fashion industry or art where you would like to do an internship, because unlike what Mensitieri says, this kind of adoring the genius tyrant, sometimes sacrifices need to be made. If there's something you really wish to do for yourself, not for any other goal, for example, achieving a better reputation in your career or becoming more famous or, you know, climbing that social ladder. If you don't care about all of that, but you really want to work with an artist or a designer because you love them and you want to get to understand how they function, and you want to do something like that for a certain limited period of time, and you get not well paid, but if it's really the love, the passion that you want to invest in order to get that passion and interesting interaction with that person back, then do it. But if you fall into that precipice of having to do these free jobs over and over and over and over and over again, then that's wrong. That's wrong. You're going to become bitter and sad, and you're not going to be happy long term. Alrighty, let's read some of the comments. Oh my gosh, so many comments. Thumb up the video if you like it, guys. And Emilio says, you're too niche, Dacob. They only like superficial things. Debbie just wants truths. The cat videos are everything, though. I like them too, but you know what I mean. A cat video can only go so far. YouTube is all about ugly Instagram makeup trends, drama, react channels, and try channels. Happens all the time, Debbie. Lena says, I love you, Dacob, but don't misunderstand me, please. The word cancer scares me. My mom, she is with cancer. I hope you understand me. I'm scared for my mom. Hope and I have faith she will be well soon. Well, Lena, I'm sending a lot of love and all the best positive energy to your mama. We're all hoping she will recover as soon as possible. And in my family, there has been cancer and there are survivors. Lena, this is the thing. You got to be strong for yourself and your mom in this situation. Because the love of family is what makes people heal. Of course, also medication does, and the correct doctors and the correct treatments, but also a lot of love. And the way that you're writing so caringly about your mom, I'm sure you have a lot of love to give. Sending you a lot of love and positive energy. Debbie says, I curate my time now. I have to. Yeah, we all have to. And the thing is, like, the older you get and the more you realize the fact that you got to curate time. Time is shorter. Now, let me explain this shortly. There's a lot of theories on time out there, and I've read really many of them. But the one that I appreciated the most, and I'm so sorry, I apologize, I don't know really whose theory this is. If you guys know which philosopher or scientist made this theory up, I hope it's not Hawkins, because then it would have been too obvious, but I don't know who it was. Anyway, you know, like when you're a kid, you have the feeling a day lasts forever, and a week is like a lifetime. And then the older you get, everything becomes quicker and quicker and quicker. Like a day goes by in a nanosecond, right? When you get older. Well, the best theory I've ever heard on that is, and it's to me so logical, I hope I can be able to explain it to you quickly. We can conceive time as a container. let's say time is limited within this container, right? When you're a kid, you're just born. Oh, and this container is directly proportional to memory, your own memory. When you're born, when you're a kid, you don't have much memory. And we're not going into past lives and stuff like that. Let's forget about reincarnation options for a second here, okay? Just, you know, when you're young, at around 6 years of age, kids start developing a conscience, and then they kind of start remembering stuff and thinking about what, you know. So when you're really, really little, there's no memory really. So this container, which is limited, connected to memory, is empty. So you could imagine for you to spend one day without any memory of anything in this container because it's empty. It's a humongous space. It's a big space to fill from day to day. Then you get your first memory and you fill up a little bit of it. You know, it's like memory space on a computer, you know? And then like the next day you have another memory happen. And then the next day another memory, and you're filling it up bit by bit. And the more you fill it up and the less space is available, and the more you're going through all of these memories, and going through all these memories occupies your thought process. So the thought process is full, it's constantly rendering. Hence you have less moments of emptiness. And that's how you feel like time is passing so quickly, because you're never really disconnected anymore, because you're full of so many memories that time is also full of all of those memories. And hence it just passes quickly because you're constantly electrified, you're constantly working. But when you're young and little, there's not much to think about, there's not much to process, there's not much to render. So you spend a long amount of time with only one, not even one thought. Fascinating, isn't it? I'm sure I could explain it better, but given the time here and the platform, I guess this is kind of the best I can do for now. All right. Jet Set says, can't take your possession with you when you're dead. True, but again, the Egyptians, they thought they could. All the pharaohs, you know, they were all buried with all those riches. By the way, scientists, see, YouTube is interesting. Sometimes you can find scientific stuff there. Basically, one of those pharaohs' tombs, you know, they found like a jar, like a container of honey from back then, and it's still edible. Real honey, not something that's sweetened with artificial sugars nowadays, but real honey. And bees are dying out, so real honey is going to be impossible to get sooner or later. It's going to be super expensive, but that's another topic. It's like still edible. Could you imagine? Thousands and thousands and thousands of years back, the honey is something that remains. But yeah, they would bury their dead with all their riches, thinking that they can take them, you know, into the other world. We don't know what happens after we die. You know, it's all about belief. You either believe that nothing happens or you believe that something amazing happens. But I do think that material possessions, you cannot take them with you. Maybe you can take the conscience with you, the memory of something with you, you know. And that's why I love perfumes, because smell is memory, and I love the memory of a smell. And I do believe that the memory of a smell you can't take with you. Same applies for the memory of sound. The other day, I got so shocked. It hit me. I stopped breathing for a second because I forgot my grandmother's voice. I'm getting emotional now. Give me a second. I forgot her voice, and I lost breath. I just needed to like collect myself at Dacob. I have recordings of her, you know, little films when we were kids and stuff. So one of my two grandmas, it made me feel like there was this huge void in me, because as long as I remember the voice, they're alive to me. These dear, dear family members are alive to me. And I forgot her voice for a second, and it was so painful. And but I remembered the voice, so now it's better. Alrighty. Melinda craves simplicity in life. Our world is so overwhelming. Everything is so fast-paced. So true. And Emilio says, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you believe. Joyful remorse. I miss my grandmothers every single day, and it does scare me. I forget the little things that made them. Yeah. Debbie says, great that you have recordings. I lost my tape with my dad. But as long as you remember the voice, it echoes inside of you. When I hear my dad's voice inside of me, he's alive. He's still alive. Because it's warm to hear that voice. It's comforting. It's soothing. You almost don't even need to let go because of the fact that the human body part of that loved one is gone, because there's the voice, the memory. It's a wonderful thing. I mean, at least for me, it's very soothing and healing. It might not be for everyone, but to me, that the memory of the voice of my loved ones is just means the world to me. Oh, Lena says, thank you for the mom. Yeah, don't worry about it. It'll all be good. You got to think positive thoughts. Send out positive vibes to the world, you know? You give out and you get in return. It's a flow. We're all connected. We're not disconnected. Back to the article again, Monsi Thierry. I also use this example often. Again, another scientific fact. You know, sometimes in malls, they would, like, you can win a car if you guess how many like balls of bubble gum are in the car. And the car is like filled with bubble gum, right? And there's like millions of them, and then you gotta guess the number. But they always want you to guess as an individual. You're never gonna really guess unless, you know, what are the chances? 1 in a billion. But they made a statistical count that the more people give their opinion, let's say 100, 200 people give their number, then you add up the average of all of that divided by the amount of people that did it, and you're gonna come, basically, you're gonna hit it on the nail, the amount of bubblegum in the car. Because there is something that is called group conscience, and also group conscience, but also group memory. We are all connected, no matter what the government tells you, because they want you to be an individual. That's why also protesting on the streets is illegal. You got to ask for permission to do so, because no government likes unity. Because if you unite outside, because only the government is unity, but if you unite in your own group, they don't like it because it's subversive. It's something that is not under their control anymore. The strength lies in unity. And we spend most of our lives gossiping about each other, not liking each other, trying to cut each other's legs off, trying to put rocks in other people's paths, trying to fuel the drama channels, trying to fuel the gossip. It's just cutting our own legs. Instead of helping each other, seeing each other grow, we're just diminishing ourselves, our value, our humanity, really. We're reducing ourselves to things, tools. Joyful remorse. I miss my grandmother every single day, and it does scare me. I forget the little things that made them. Oh yeah, I read that comment already. Linda misses grandmother so much, and Debbie doesn't remember the voice. She was 16. Yeah, 16 is young. Well, you were already old enough, but I know a voice. It's easier to forget a voice than it is to forget a smell. I do believe so. And, and Proust, in his, The Search of Lost Time, also talks more about taste and smell rather than sound. Yeah, it's a tough one, but that's also part of life, We lose things on the way. We also gain other amazing things. So it's kind of always, it's a balance, the force is balanced out. So I see no more comments coming in. Thumb up the video if you like it. Let's not leave it on a 13. We are superstitious that way. 13? No. We need 14 at least. Thumbs up. Thank you. That was fast. All right. Well, since no more comments are coming in, I think at least no more comments. No. We could end it here. We did an hour, and I would like to thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed this topic. It's a very complex topic. It's not something that we're going to talk about every day, but I think it's important to have a video like this one out there. And again, you know, help The Guardian out as a magazine. Follow the link in case The Guardian wishes to, me to take down this video because they don't want me to read their article, which is free of charge, by the way. I might even, whatever they want. I just want to share this wonderful news about this wonderful book, and I'm just so enthusiastic about it. So I thought it's a good thing to share. But you never know in this world, with copyright. That's how the world works. Sometimes people just don't want to share. We got to be prepared for everything, for any possible case and event. Jetset says, where do I go to thumb up? It's not like the regular videos. Oh, really? Okay, but then it was explained. Yeah, close the chat. Melina says, thank you, Dacob. Thank you, Melly, for tuning in. And thank you, Debbie, for being our modératrice du jour. Also, guys, I am on Patreon. A lot of my patrons are in the chat. You know who you are. You know who you is. But Super Dacob on Patreon, all spelled together. Special videos only available there, as well as photos. You could help the channel grow that way, because then Patreon flows into YouTube, because it helps me fuel YouTube as well. With time is of the essence. But if you wish to continue seeing the videos for free here on YouTube, be my guest. You're more than welcome. Just don't forget to at least subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Super Dacob, all spelled together. So guys, I say it in every video, but in special videos like this one, it's even more important, and it has an even deeper meaning to say never give up on love. So never give up on love, guys. I love you so much. And oh, by the way, if I manage tomorrow, guess what the topic is? You've made it so far, so you deserve a little sneak peek. I have gathered all 5 samples of the not anymore newly released, but a couple of months ago released Louis Vuitton male fragrances, male exclusive fragrances. I know they're all unisex, but they kind of said that those 5 were launched just like for men. So we're going to do all 5 of them, first impressions, in the next video. How about that? What your thoughts? No thoughts. Oh, Lena says, thank you for making this live video. I love. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you, Lena. Okay, Melly says, oh, fun. All right then. Well, if we're gonna do, we're gonna do it. Sigita Johansson. Thank you, Dacob. Thank you too. Joyful Remorse says, how wonderful. Emilia says yes. Okay, good. So if I'm here on time with work permitting, let's do it. Let's do the 5 Louis Vuitton for Men fragrances first impressions. All right, guys. Love you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Never give up on love. Ah!